Hey everybody, how's it going? I wanted to make a video talking about how my knife sharpening systems have evolved and how I have come to the realization that I wanted to first pick up the Wicked Edge, and also just some reasoning behind why I picked it up. And I just want to kind of go over my sharpening journey or philosophy. So anyways, I hope this video is helpful to you guys, and thanks for watching. Now, as you can kind of see up here, I have some folding knives set out. Most of these are budget folders, or what I would consider budget folders. Definitely they're all within under $100 or well under $100. And these are the type of knives that I generally buy and I generally like to carry. It's just kind of my, I guess you could say, style. There's a lot of other knives I like that are more high-end and cost more, but I just don't have the resources to keep buying those. So I try and stay away from them as much as I can for that reason. But, you know, I've got a couple knife sharpening systems out here. I've got this Smith's Diamond Grit knife sharpener. It's kind of like a field sharpener. Got some sandpapers under it. I've got the Spyderco Sharpmaker down here. I have the Wicked Edge knife sharpener. I've also got a strop right here, a leather strop with some compound on it. But I've had many other sharpeners over the years as well. And what I want to do is, these were kind of for visual reference. I'm going to take the knives out of here just so they're not a distraction. Set them to the side real quick. But basically, when I first started getting into knives, I was kind of used to using the typical little small size stone. I think I had a ceramic stone. I might have had a Smith stone that was about this large. And I used to not be able to get my knives, I never could get them that sharp. I would be able to touch up an edge just a little bit, but I was never very good. You know, I would take the stone and just kind of try and do the sharpening motion on it and try and get a sharp edge, but I usually didn't, honestly. And it was like that for a while until I thought, well, you know what, I better try and spend a little bit of money on a decent sharpener. So at that time, I had tried several different ones. I believe I settled on the Lansky, I got the Lansky 5-stone Deluxe sharpening system, and I heard a lot of good reviews on that. It's a good budget system for around 30-40 bucks. And I had okay success with it. I even put out a video on it, which I'm not proud of. Although it's been one of my most viewed videos of all time, it was also one of my most disliked, because at that time I didn't know how to cut paper properly. I didn't know how to sharpen properly, and basically I was just putting a video up of me doing my first sharpening, and needless to say, it didn't turn out all that great. But the video's still up there if you guys want to go out and find it and post a funny comment or something. But anyways, that's not the point. I tried that sharpener, and after a while I got some okay results, but I found that the edges I was getting were varying based on just a lot of flaws with the system, in my opinion. It has a lot of play in the way the system works, as far as keeping a consistent angle, and it just didn't end up being the sharpener for me. And from there, I had tried several different things. I believe this was one of the next sharpeners I bought. Again, this is like a Smith's diamond sharpener. It's got a fine and a coarse side. I don't remember the grits. But this actually works fairly well. What you would use this for, what I use it for, is setting a bevel. Before I had the Wicked Edge, I would set a bevel with this, because that coarse side is really, it'll really grind down some metal. But I found it pretty difficult to get consistent bevels, as far as all the way up and down the edge, having just a really consistent bevel. Like the way I would use the Smith sharpener is I would have the knife flat on something, and I would, you know, you kind of have to set the bevel like that, so it's not going to be even all across the bevel. And that's why I kind of wanted something better than this. And at the time, I believe the next thing that I went to was, let me think about that. I think I got the Lansky Turnbox Crock sticks. Another great sharpener, very similar to the Sharpmaker. It has some different angles as well as some different grits rods. And the rods are, they're rounded, as opposed to the Sharpmakers where it's straight and triangular. But anyways, that worked pretty good. It'll hone an edge really good. You'll get some sharp edges. And I used that for quite a while before going on to some other sharpeners, and eventually I settled on the Spyderco Sharpmaker, just to kind of get a more refined, very sharp edge, because once you get into sharpening, you always want it to go a little bit sharper. Each time you always want to get a little bit better, a little bit more refined, which the Sharpmaker does a great job at. But one thing the Sharpmaker does not do is that if you have an edge that comes from the factory, the bevel, let's say it's, and I don't know the correct terminology, but let's say it's more, instead of the bevel being set back, it's more abrupt. Again, I wasn't very good in geometry, but you know, as opposed to the bevel being like this, it's more like this, which is a lot more difficult to get to the very edge, especially on the Sharpmaker, and you kind of have to adjust your angles accordingly. As instead of going straight up and down on the Sharpmaker, you would have to move your knife to an angle kind of like that and go down, and then to the next side kind of like that. And that's fine for a while, but after you've done that for a long period of time, you're not going to be able to keep getting that edge as sharp. And that's when I really wanted to start setting my bevels back to around like 36 degrees, which is what you can do on this, 30 degrees even inclusive. It really, on the Wicked Edge, it has just a lot of capabilities, and that's the reason that I bought the Wicked Edge. The main reason is because I want the ability to completely reprofile an edge and set a bevel, to give me the ability to continue sharpening with the Sharpmaker. Now, I'm going to keep the Sharpmaker, and I'm going to touch up my edges a lot of times, because these ceramics that it has can get you a really great edge, even sharper than what the system on the Wicked Edge can do. The basic model that only comes with up to the 600 grit. These ceramics are a much, much higher grit, even the fine ceramics in the Sharpmaker. And so that's why I'm going to keep touching up my edges with this. But basically the point of the video, the point I'm trying to get across is, I've had some people kind of question why you would pay this much money for a sharpener, because this is an expensive sharpener, the Wicked Edge. And I had that same train of thought as well for a long time, but when I kind of put everything together and realized what I really wanted out of a sharpener, and I looked at my patterns of buying these less expensive sharpeners. I mean, over the time, I've had several of these Smith sharpeners. I've had a Sharpmaker. I've had several of the Lansky Turnbox Crock sticks. I've had the Lansky Deluxe 5-stone sharpening system. I actually had 2 of those. I've had several stones. If you add all of that up, it starts to get pretty pricey, and I started to see a pattern of myself just buying less expensive sharpeners but not being satisfied with them. And the same thing with knives is, I would get a knife completely dull, and not this one in particular, I'm just holding it for reference, but then I wouldn't be able to get it completely sharp like I wanted. I wouldn't be able to get it as hair popping sharp, as phone book paper push cutting sharp as I wanted to. I couldn't get the edge as refined as I wanted to, and I really discovered that rather than having a bunch of just really, really cool knives just to rotate through, I would much rather have a really refined and just really cool edge that I can get sharp all the time. And that's really what led me to buy the Wicked Edge. I found how important having a sharp knife is to me, and not just kind of sharp, something that's just stupid sharp. That's really, really important to me, just for, it just adds value to carrying a knife. To me, it's just something that's really, it really means a lot to me, more so or just as much as having a cool knife. So what I did is I sold a lot of my collection, which wasn't that big, honestly, but I sold a lot of stuff that I wasn't using, and just decided that the Wicked Edge was the way to go, and I really wanted that system. Now, with that said, like I said, even the basic model, I had to buy some sandpaper up to 2,000 grit to get the really sharp edges that I was looking for with somewhat of a mirror polish. Doesn't really matter for cutting performance, but as far as, you know, the bevel being polished or not, it's all about the edge. It's all about how thin the edge is. And honestly, you can get that same sharpness with the Sharpmaker, the fine stones, or the ultra fine. But it is nice to be able to tape the sandpaper onto the Wicked Edge stones and just kind of, you know, sharpen like this and get kind of really good results. So anyways, that's kind of the video. I just wanted to share with some of you what led me to wanting to get the Wicked Edge. Just a few months ago, honestly, I thought, man, I would never pay that much for a knife sharpener. But when I started evaluating just my patterns and buying other sharpeners that are less expensive and buying knives and what's really important to me in a knife, I just realized that this was something that I really wanted. And it was worth it to me, well worth it, to buy. And that's really all I wanted to get across. I know I had a few questions. People thought I was crazy for spending this much money on this sharpener, and not even on YouTube, people in, just everyday life. But, I really love sharpening. I really love learning about it and just continuing to get really nice edges and continuing to get better at sharpening. Honestly, if you look at some of my first sharpening videos that get so many dislikes, and then you look at some of the edges I get now, I mean, I've learned so much, and I want to continue learning, and it's just something that's fun to do and something that I enjoy, and that's the main reason. So thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys continue to watch and enjoy your upcoming week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.